In this video, I'm going to talk about how do you learn about money? Yep, how do you become financially literate? One of the most critical things I think you should do in your life. And guess what? No one's teaching it. So get a pen and paper. We have a lot to talk about. Some of you may say, why listen to Loral? I've been watching Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey and all these other people. I'm the millionaire maker. I've been a multimillionaire for decades and a consistent one. And I think that's really, really important. There's a lot of people who say, I'm a millionaire and I lost it. And then I made it again and I lost it. I'm not those people. I'm not that person. I will teach you how to be a millionaire if you so choose to be a millionaire. If not, how to be a 100,000-aire. But no matter what, you have to learn about money. There are 10 to 15 things you do every day blindly, right? Or just unconsciously around money. You pay your rent or mortgage, you get gas, you get food, you pay electricity, you pay for this little device called your phone you're listening to, you pay for your internet, your Wi-Fi. There's so many things that just get paid. But where did the money come from? Did you make a conscious decision to do it? Is it the right decision for you and your family? And do you have a plan? So in this video, I'm going to share with you the books you absolutely have to read. Like they're a must read. And if you want to read them, listen to them. The #1 online event that you have to be at, you need to at least attend. It's only 13 hours of your time to change your life with money. The one person you need to be listening to and the one path you need to be reading and guiding your plan into. Most of all, I'm going to teach you the difference between debit and credit. And I can tell you there are so many of you who think you need to be debt-free to be financially successful, and that's not true at all. So let's begin. Why is it that so few people know about money? Because it's not taught. Right? It's not in any school curriculum. It's not in any religious curriculum. It's not taught at home because most parents don't know it themselves. So how is money made? So right now, if you took a little break, took a little moment, or let's put it in the comments. So put in the comments, how did you learn about money? Right? Who taught you? Like if you really think, like, did you go to a class? Is this the first that I'm going to, I really want to be your teacher about money because I've studied money now for 25 years of my life. I've committed not only for me and my family, but to be here to share it with you and your family. And it's critical you have a plan. Not like I'm going to get through my day and I'm going to get through my month and hopefully get through my year. But what are you doing with your money? Like, how do you spend it every day? So what books you need to read? Well, you're going to have to read my 5 New York Times bestsellers. And that isn't just because I need you to read them. I wrote them very strategically, unlike a lot of other multiple authors where you read a book and then the theme is kind of the same in all the books. There's not like a lot of different content. Here's the books I need you to read and why. You're going to start with The Millionaire Maker. So that book I wrote in 2006. It's a classic. I say that's one of those books you should read once a year along with Think and Grow Rich, right? Clearly a book you need to be reading about more the mindset and how to think about money. And The Millionaire Maker is the financial side. See, there's a lot of books about motivation and how you feel. And I was in The Secret, so I can even tell you like that's a lot of the manifesting about money. And a lot of people say, Loral, you need to talk about the mindset of money. I said, no, I need to talk about the actions of money. Like what do you do to make it? What do you do to spend it? And that's the beginning of your plan. And the reason why most people don't advance with money is because they don't have the beginning plan, much less an advanced plan, which is how do you keep it and how do you invest it and how do you use a team? This money conversation is not something you do alone. So again, if you haven't done it yet, comment. Who taught you? Your parents? Your friends? Did you just kind of make it up together when you went out to the mall? That's what I see a lot of kids. Some kids have a credit card, some kids have a debit card. It happened with my kids. My kids have a credit card early. It's better tracking. Honestly, as a parent, it helps your credit. And then immediately when you put their name on the card, it helps their credit. There's so many ways and better uses of a credit card than a debit card. A debit card just takes money right out of their bank account. Credit card, you get to use somebody else's money for 30 days. Come to that at the end of the video. We're going to come back to that. It's so essential. So back to the books. The Millionaire Maker. You're going to read chapter 1, 2, and 3. And then you're probably going to say, oh my gosh, I need to talk to somebody on the Loral's team. So you're going to like me. You're going to subscribe. You're going to do all the things that you need to do because I really need you to do that for me because I'm going to help you become financially super literate. Now, if you really get into the book, there's 7 families in the book. All of them became millionaires. And I got to say, one of them is a dog walker. She was an administrative assistant making very little money, loved walking dogs. We changed her entire business and she came out a millionaire. Got to read that story. So I have stories of 7 millionaire families and how I made them millionaires, literally the blueprint. what they did first, what they did second, what they did third. So the way to read the Millionaire Maker book is to find the family that's most like you. What did you do to yourself? And so once you find that family, read it like in depth. And then I have a game that goes with the Millionaire Maker. So just like you play Monopoly and you probably played Cash Flow with the Rich Dad Poor Dad team, Millionaire Maker is a bigger game. It's the game because it teaches you all the strategies of becoming a millionaire. And I want you to put it around the kitchen table. I'm going to give you a discount at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that discount. Now, once you play the game and you read the Millionaire Maker, you got to go on to book 2. So book 2 is how to build a 6 and 7 figure business. If you're not going to build a 6 or 7 figure business, honestly, you should keep a job because anything under 6 figures, so I'm talking to those of you that are under 6 figure entrepreneurs, it's painful, right? Because you're living on the money that you're making. And then there's not enough money to hire the team, to hire the web design team, the social media team, the bookkeeper, right? The sales team. There's just not enough money if you're not making 100 grand. So I am a huge proponent and have a plan to get you over 100,000 as an entrepreneur right away. That's book number 2 called The Cash Machine. Book number 3 is now that you're making money. It's called Wealth Cycle Investing. Where do you invest your money? Critical book you read. So in order, you have your plan, Millionaire Maker. Now you have your business. Now you have investing education. Now we get to the urgent one. This one was written in 2009. Put more cash in your pocket. This is for you, those families that are listening that need that fast money like right now. It's how to put 500 to 1,000 in your bank account every month like clockwork. I call it the 21st century lemonade stand. Has to. That's a must read for most families right now coming out of this pandemic. They've got to make some more money. Now, the last book is the fun one. It's called Yes Energy. I live life through the lens of yes. I say yes, I figure it out. Some of you live life through the lens of no. Everything can't work. It doesn't work. You have all these excuses. So that is, if you want a mindset book, the one that you're going to read. All 5 are critical. Now, the one event, I do an event every 3 weeks. It's 13 hours. It's called my marketplace. So I want to test out your skill set on your ability to make money. So I teach you in a marketplace how to sell. And you say, well, I'm not good at selling. I know. So you're going to start today. We're going to start coaching you and get you ready. What's a product? What's a service? What's something you can sell for $10, $20 and build a database? I do so many of these educational videos and I love teaching kids how to make real money. All you parents, you should easily be making 6 figures with your skill sets. I mean, kids have less skill sets. You parents have so many skill sets. You need to be making 6 figures. Absolutely. My marketplace is a place where literally every 3 weeks, once you learn to sell, you're going to come back to. And there's going to be 50 to 100 new people every 3 weeks for you to sell again to. So I put in a structure that pretty much guarantees you're going to make money every 3 weeks. Now I'm going to give you all sorts of things you should be doing every day to make money, but at least you're going to be guaranteed to make money every 3 weeks. And all of you can do it. I don't care if you have a job. Use this as a side hustle just to get started learning about money. Making money is such a critical part of skill set because what we're taught is that a job is how we make money. And nothing could be further from the truth. Prior to 1933, there were no such thing as jobs. No one even knew what employment was. It all started then in the industrial age where people were hired and they were given a wage. Prior to that, guess what? Everybody was an entrepreneur. So I always say, somewhere in your lineage, if you go back to ancestry and do all those fun things, somebody in your family line of tree was your entrepreneur. So I always say you have entrepreneur muscles. They're just atrophied little guys. And my job is to get that entrepreneur out of you and get you making real money. So yes, you might keep a job, but you are going to learn how to make extra money. If you really want to learn about money and how to not have it control you and be fear-based and be like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with money. Sorry, folks, you can't live on this planet if you don't deal with money. And now we have this new thing. It's here. COVID sped it up and it's here to stay. It's called digital currency. And you're going to have to learn that. So if you don't know the basics about banking, savings, checking, debits, credit, how are you going to learn that? That's like more sophisticated. So let's get started. Roll up your sleeves. I need you to read books. I need you for 13 hours. Could you at least give me 13 hours? All right. All I need is on a Thursday and a Friday, and I will guarantee you will make money if you do everything I say. And at the end of this video, I'm actually going to give you a free ticket. You don't have to pay $97. You're actually going to get a free ticket for you and a friend to come and learn to make money. And then come back every time, every 3 weeks. And then I want to be your mentor. Why? Because, if you want to learn money and get wealthy, right? And not live within your means and live in a little box. Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey do great, but they keep you in a little box called stay safe and stay out of debt. Wealthy people use debit and credit cards properly. We have debt in the system at all times. Before I get to that conversation, I'm very serious about picking a path. You can't listen to Susie, Dave, or David Bach like that traditional work, and then listen to me or Robert Kiyosaki or Sharon Lechter or Don DeMartini or Bob Proctor. We are all in the same conversation. It is really important you don't straddle this conversation of staying broke and getting rich. So I'm the how to make money and get really rich, or at least be 100,000-aire. That's not even that rich, but at least you're gonna have a way better life and have a better plan. See, what you have to know about successful people is we're very disciplined and we're consistent. And disciplined, consistent people perform. So why read books? Because wealthy, successful people have read books. I know for me, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, maybe like lots of you, was my oh my gosh moment. Because most of you could relate to it, not because you had a rich dad, because you had a poor dad. And you were hoping for the rich dad. And then you got that cash flow game. And I was the master distributor of that cash flow game. And so why I do the work the way I do it is because I answer the question, after you play cash flow, what's the first question? How do I do these principles in my life? So that's where I knew after teaching the game for 5 years, I was going to pick up the Millionaire Maker work. So mine is really detailed down to how do you get incorporated? How do you bank? How do you pay your kids? How do you set up a Roth? All those little details. I call it the grit. That's what we teach. And that's what my community is for, is to really help implement these strategies in your life. Now let's talk about the strategy again, that the other conversation, the Susie Orman, the Dave Ramsey, do not teach or subscribe to. But again, their goal isn't, to their credit, they're not millionaire makers. They're not saying, I'm going to get you rich. I am. Because why would you live life poor? I have to say this. This was so funny. I had an Uber driver yesterday. True story. And he kind of realized who I was. And, I'm going to send him an ebook copy of my Millionaire Maker. And he's from Mexico. And he's done an amazing job of getting a life here. And he was so funny. He said, he said, Miss Loral, he said, there's no such thing as poor people. He said, they're just lazy. And I thought, oh my God, how true. It wasn't out of the mouths of babes, but how true. So this isn't about, it is a choice, I guess. If you want to stay poor, stay lazy and broke. Now, do you have to work hard? I'm going to say you have to think hard. And there's activities that you have to do, which reading is one of them. Attending my marketplace, I'm giving you a free ticket. This is now just you and some time that you're going to have to substitute and say, I'm going to make money and a plan for me and my family so significant in my life. And I'm going to unlearn a bunch of bad habits. So let's talk about debits and credits. I do a lot of charity work to athletes. I do a lot of financial literacy. And one of the first questions that I'm asked, and these are 18, 20, 24-year-old athletes in college, right? Playing for NCAA. And they'll say, what's the difference between a debit and a credit card? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So what that tells me, and sorry parents, but that's a reflection on you. You aren't teaching anything to these kids at home, which is why I need to be your subscribe. Like you should click right now, subscribe, and every morning I need to wake up in your inbox with a notification that says, here's another lesson, and tomorrow there's another lesson, and the next day there's another lesson. It is so critical. So here's what a debit card is. It's a little card that you go to an ATM or you use at the store, and it's going to pull money straight out of your bank account. So it's just going to use your cash. A credit card is something that you can use for 30 days. And yes, it's going to pile up an amount that you're going to owe, but you're going to have better credit. So later when you want to buy a car, buy a house, get a loan. Like I know just by your conversation, when you say, Loral, nobody's going to borrow me money. It's because you haven't been using the system right. You've been using a debit card, not a credit card. I'm a massive fan of use your credit card. Number one, like your cash you have should be invested. You should be making money on it. And if you're not, we'll have to work on that strategy. Not today. We're going to stay on this topic because a credit card allows you to use the bank's money, whether it's Bank of America, whether it's Wells Fargo, whether it's Chase or Citibank, or even whoever your credit cards like we're with. You're going to use their money for 30 days, pay the whole thing off. But now what you're showing the financial institutes is that you actually are disciplined, you're persistent, you're consistent, and so you can use your card, pay it off, affects your credit. You put your kids on your card, and I say as early as 14 years old. You start building your kids' credit, so when they're 18, we'll teach you how to apply for a credit card when you're 18 and immediately boost your credit. So credit cards versus debit cards. I'm a huge fan of using credit cards for a lot of reasons, as I said. Now let's talk about debt. Same thing. Debt's just the cost of money. Right now, debt is so cheap. Like the cost of money is cheap. You should be refinancing your house. You should only be putting on a fixed mortgage. With the craziness that's going on in Washington, who knows if interest rates will go up. But you could park into a long-term 30-year 2%. I have people down in 1.8% on your house. Why would you ever, if you have a $400,000, $500,000 house, pay that off when you can only pay like 1.6, 2% interest? You take that money and you invest it. Go make 10%, 12%, 20%, 50%. Use the money to make money and use other people's money to use for debt and use it for credit. So more on those topics on this channel. Make sure you are here learning and listening about money. And I'm going to teach you the right way. I promise it's the accurate way. It's not Loral's made up way. It is the way that people get rich. So what I want you to do is get my free ticket number 1 and go grab a friend that is interested in learning about how to make money and how to do it really fast. Lots of strategies you'll be taught in 13 hours. So you're going to go into the description, click on the link below. The tickets will pop up. You have to give me your name, phone number, and email. My team's going to call and we start coaching you like the minute you get those tickets. So it is a massive, massive gift from me to you. And then I want you also to click on the second link, which is a discount code. My game sells for $150 and I'm gonna give you a $50 discount code so you can get my game. And then you just pay some shipping to get it out to you wherever you are in the world and play the game. Don't let it just come and sit, at the door. You wanna unwrap it, you wanna open it up, put it around the kitchen table and let me know how it goes. You'll have fun.